Did you know that 68% of seniors over 65 experience some form of physical limitation that impacts their daily independence? And that, according to recent studies, about 40% of these limitations could be reversed or significantly improved with just nutritional adjustments. Most unbelievable, isn't it? How a simple plate of food can be the difference between needing help to take a shower or dancing with the grandkids at the next birthday party. Today, I want to share with you a discovery that has changed the lives of hundreds of patients in my practice. The right nutrients aren't just numbers on blood tests. They're the real keys to freedom in your golden years. I'm going to reveal the 5 essential nutrients and the foods that contain them, capable of restoring strength to your legs, balance to your body, and most importantly, dignity and independence to your everyday life. The story of Mrs. Lucy, a 72-year-old who went from being almost bedridden to an active gardener in just 3 months, perfectly illustrates what I'm talking about. And the most incredible thing? She didn't need expensive medications or invasive procedures. She just discovered the transformative power hidden in simple foods that are probably already in your kitchen right now. Dr. Alexander King, transforming scientific knowledge into practical health for your best. Let's start by talking about something we rarely discuss openly, the frailty that comes with aging. At 40, we start to lose about 1% of muscle mass per year, and that number increases to 3% after 60. Doesn't seem like much? Well, know that by 70, this can represent a loss of up to 40% of the strength you had at 30. It's as if, silently, your body is being robbed day after day. I met Mrs. Margaret, 68, who came to my office unable to get up from a chair without help. Doctor, old age has arrived. What she didn't know was that it wasn't just age. It was a severe deficiency in protein and vitamin D, so common that I call it the invisible epidemic of senior living. And do you know what the most underestimated factor in this equation is? Inadequate nutrition. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that 78% of seniors who experience falls have significant nutritional deficiencies, especially in protein and specific micronutrients. The problem is that as we age, appetite decreases, nutrient absorption is compromised, and many seniors end up eating just a little something so as not to be a burden. A vicious cycle where weakness leads to a sedentary lifestyle, which increases muscle loss, which intensifies weakness. But here's the good news. This cycle can be broken, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Before we move on, I'd like to ask, have you noticed any difference in your strength or endurance in the last 5 years? Do activities that used to be simple now seem to require more effort? And thinking about your parents or grandparents, have you noticed how they might be avoiding certain activities for fear of falling, or because they no longer have the same energy? The first and most fundamental change we need to make is to increase the consumption of quality protein. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using protein, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. Therefore, while a young adult may need about 0.8 g of protein per kilogram of body weight, after 65, that need increases to 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram. Let's translate that into practice. A woman weighing 132 lilaboys, 60 kg, would need to consume between 72 and 90 grams of protein daily, the equivalent of approximately 10.5 boiled Oz, 300 grams of chicken or 12 eggs. It's like a lot. That's why so many seniors are protein deficient. The case of Mr. Anthony illustrates this point well. At 78, he basically ate coffee and bread for breakfast, a plate of rice, beans, and a small portion of meat for lunch, and vegetable soup at night. When we calculated, he consumed only 40 grams of protein per day, less than half of what he needed. It's no surprise that he could barely climb the stairs in the building where he lived. We implemented a simple plan. We added 2 hard-boiled eggs to breakfast, increased the portion of meat at lunch, and included Greek yogurt with nuts at night. 3 months later, Mr. Anthony not only climbed the stairs effortlessly, but had also resumed his morning walks. The foods richest in high-quality, easily digestible protein include 2 eggs at breakfast provide about 12 grams of protein. Greek yogurt With approximately twice the protein of regular yogurt, it is an excellent option for snacks or desserts. A 7-O's 200-gram serving can offer up to 20 grams of protein. Chicken and fish. Lean sources of protein, easy to digest and prepare. A 3.5 Oz 100-gram serving of chicken breast provides about 30 grams of protein. Whey protein. For cases of greater difficulty, whey protein supplements can be great allies, easily incorporated into smoothies or oatmeal. A valuable tip is to distribute protein consumption throughout the day rather than concentrating it in a single meal. Recent research shows that the body benefits most when we consume around 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal at regular intervals. Do you usually include protein sources in all your meals, or are they concentrated only at lunch? And in your parents' or grandparents' home, is there a concern to ensure this essential nutrient in adequate amounts? If proteins are the foundation, vitamin D and calcium are the engineers who coordinate the entire musculoskeletal health work. It's a fascinating partnership. Calcium strengthens bones, but is only well utilized when there is sufficient vitamin D. And vitamin D, in addition to helping calcium absorption, has a direct action on muscle strength and balance. The problem? It is estimated that 80% of Americans over 60 are vitamin D deficient, even though they live in a country with plenty of sunshine. This happens because with aging, the skin produces less vitamin D when exposed to the sun, and many seniors avoid sun exposure for fear of skin cancer or difficulty moving around. Mrs. Cecilia, 81, came to my office after fracturing her wrist in a simple fall. Tests revealed severe osteoporosis and virtually undetectable vitamin D levels. She rarely left the house and ate predominantly refined carbohydrates with very few sources of calcium or vitamin D. We started vitamin D supplementation under medical supervision and reorganized her diet to include egg yolks rich in vitamin D. They became part of breakfast a few times a week. Controlled sun exposure, 15 minutes of sun directly on the arms and legs, preferably before 10 a.m. or after 4 p.m. In 6 months, Mrs. Cecilia's vitamin D levels normalized. Her bone density began to improve, and most impressively, she didn't fall once during that period, when she had fallen almost monthly before. It is worth remembering that in many cases, vitamin D supplementation is necessary, but it should always be done with medical guidance and monitoring of blood level, as excessive doses can be harmful. Have you had a test to check your vitamin D levels in the last 2 years? And in your family, is there a concern about adequate sun exposure or a consumption of foods rich in this essential nutrient? Now I want to talk about a nutrient that has revolutionized the lives of many of my patients, omega-3, especially the fatty acids EPA and DHA. More than just a heart protector, as it is commonly known, omega-3 is a powerful natural anti-inflammatory that acts directly on the joints and nervous system. With aging, chronic low-grade inflammatory processes settle in the body, contributing to joint pain, morning stiffness, and even cognitive decline. This is what we call inflammaging aging caused by. Mr. George, a 70-year-old retired teacher, had intense knee pain that prevented him from even playing with his grandchildren. After 3 months of regularly consuming foods rich in omega-3, supplemented by supervised supplementation, he not only started moving more easily, but also reported a mental clarity that he hadn't felt in years. The best dietary sources of omega-3 include avocado. Although not rich in omega-3 specifically, it contains healthy fats that work in synergy, improving the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients. A study from UCLA demonstrated that seniors with regular omega-3 consumption had 43% less joint pain and better mobility compared to the control group. In addition, cognitive tests showed 27% higher results in the group that consumed this nutrient regularly. Do you regularly include fatty fish or plant-based sources of omega-3 in your diet? And in the case of joint pain, have you considered that the solution may be more on your plate than in the pharmacy? Finally, but not least important, we need to talk about combating free radicals, unstable molecules that accelerate cellular aging and contribute to countless degenerative diseases. With advancing age, our natural antioxidant defense system becomes less efficient, and we need external reinforcement through diet. Mrs. Beatrice, 75, had a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis that severely limited her. In addition to conventional treatment, we implemented an antioxidant-rich diet with special emphasis on red and purple berries, colorful vegetables, and anti-inflammatory spices. In 4 months, she was able to reduce her medication by half with the approval of her rheumatologist and returned to gardening, her great passion. The most potent foods in this category include dark green leafy vegetables. Spinach, kale, collard greens, and arugula are rich in antioxidants and nitrate, which improves blood circulation, bringing more oxygen and nutrients to the muscle. Turmeric and ginger, these spices contain compounds like curcumin and gingerol, potent natural anti-inflammatories that can be added to teas, soups, and stir-fries. Dark chocolate, 70% or more cocoa, rich in flavonoids that improve circulation and protect the cardiovascular system. A small daily portion, 20-30 grig, can bring significant benefits. Green tea contains catechins, antioxidants that protect cells, and have anti-inflammatory properties. 2 to 3 cups daily can make a big difference in your long-term health. The beauty of these foods is that they act in synergy. The more colorful your plate, the greater the variety of protective compound you're consuming. A practical tip is to adopt what I call the rainbow rule. Try to include in each main meal at least 3 different colors of fruits or vegetables. Looking at your diet from the last week, how many different colors were you able to include? And can you identify any point of resistance that prevents the inclusion of these protective foods in your dietary routine? We have reached the end of our conversation today, and I hope you have realized something profoundly transformative. Independence in old age is not a matter of luck or genetics. It is, in large part, the result of daily choices we make long before the first signs of frailty. Reviewing what we saw, proteins are fundamental for maintaining muscle mass and should be consumed in adequate amounts and distributed throughout the day. Vitamin D and calcium work together to strengthen bones and muscles, being essential to prevent falls and fractures. Omega-3 acts as a powerful natural anti-inflammatory, protecting joints and brain. And antioxidants combat cellular aging, reducing chronic inflammation and improving quality of life. Remember Mrs. Lucy that I mentioned at the beginning. She's not an isolated case. In my 25 years of clinical practice, I've witnessed hundreds of similar miracles. People who have regained their independence, dignity, and joy of living through strategic nutritional change. And the most impressive thing is that it's never too late to start. Even patients in their 90s still respond positively to these interventions. I'm not suggesting that proper nutrition eliminates all the difficulties of aging or replaces necessary medical treatments. What I advocate is an integrated approach where diet plays a leading, not supporting, role. Today, when preparing your next meal, ask yourself a simple question. Is this dish helping me build a future of independence, or is it silently undermining my strength and vitality? Small choices every day determine big results in the years to come. If you enjoyed this video and want more content on nutrition and senior health, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Also, share it with those friends and family members who could benefit from this information. Who knows, you might be sending exactly the message someone needed to hear today. Remember, aging is inevitable, but aging with frailty is optional. With the right nutrients on your plate, you can write a story of independence, vitality, and joy for the most precious chapter of your life. I'm Dr. Alexander King, and until the next video,